everybody. On today's Madge Unmuted, you're going to learn how to get your shit together. And today, with our guest, Sheila Tillich, we're going to talk about like energy and healing and metaphysical stuff and all this really cool stuff. We can all learn from it. And you can like take care of your shit, girl. Come on in. The weather's fine. Oh, fuck.
The water's fine too, Madge.
The water's fine too. Whatever it is, come on in. On today's Madge Unmuted. Everybody, welcome to another episode of Madge Unmuted with your host, me, Madge Madigan. Hi, come on in. And with me, as always, this week is the lovely and talented Fitz, my producer.
Hi. How you doing?
Hi, honey. Fabulous. No Chris this week. I
forgot to put myself on camera when I said hello. Hi, it's me.
It's okay. Nobody wants to look at you anyway. No, I'm
This
kidding.
is true. This is true.
Hey. With us this week, we have somebody who's going to explain to you what she does because I can't do it justice. With us this week, we have Sheila Tillich.
Hi, Sheila.
Say hi, Sheila.
Hi, Madge.
Hi, hon. Sheila and I became connected through our good friend Bill Moran, who you're going to see after this. So give Bill a big hug and a smooch.
I will.
For me, will you?
I absolutely will.
Thanks. Yay. Yeah, and I saw you on his what do you call his thing? Podcast.
Yeah.
Yes.
Billify?
And
No.
yes.
Bill Lightman. Bill Lightman.
Bill
yeah.
Lightman. Yes.
Yeah,
And
it's a new part.
I like
Oh,
that.
that's
Yeah.
another thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So did you see my episode with him on that one?
Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
So I thought we were we're on the same wavelength ish. So what?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Sometimes there's a little bit of a like delay or something.
I
so
know.
if I go whoa, so for the listeners too, sorry. There's like
It's all right.
showbiz. Anyway, so I'm going to read. So Sheila's website here is SheilaTillich.com. So SHEI. I'm going to have the thing here so you'll read
Yeah.
it. But for those listening to the SHEILATILLICH.com. So I will just read you. It says, she is an ordained metaphysical reverend, a galactic grandmother, and an international master energy healer. So what the hell does that mean?
Your galactic grandmother?
She
Yes.
is. Okay, I subscribe to the woo-woo stuff, so
Oh, good.
we're all good here. Yeah.
Oh, good. Well,
Go
it's
ahead,
not.
tell us.
Well, it's not so much woo-woo anymore. It's about what's happening right now. It is about energy and about everything that's happening. So I am a recovery metaphysician, and I'm also an energy healer and teacher and trainer about stress and trauma. So I do a lot of different things.
Oh,
But,
gosh, yes. So, okay. So I've read a lot of things on here that I don't understand the words.
Yeah, that's okay. That's what I'm here for, right? As I said, I'm a
Yes.
teacher.
And I love it. And so here is the funny thing. Like, I've done a lot of work with these different sort of,
Areas?
Metaphysical, spiritual, energy, astrology, you name it. I know they're not one and the same, but just a lot of people are all in sort of the same realm. So, of non-traditional stuff.
Right,
Would you
right,
agree?
right.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So first of all, what's the first thing you describe yourself as?
A metaphysician.
And what does it mean? Okay. And
A
what does that
metaphysician.
mean?
Yeah. It means somebody that deals with energy, higher frequency, and I help you heal yourself as a physician. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's all about energy medicine, all right? Or alternative medicine or holistic medicine, however you want to call it. And astrology and all the woo-woo stuff he says is all part of it and how it's all coming together.
Yeah. So the first thing that come to mind when you said this is that different than, and I never pronounce it right, Reiki?
Yeah, Reiki is a healing modality that is Eastern medicine, all right? And it deals with the chakras of the body, which is the energy wheels, okay?
Right.
What I teach and what I also do, I'm a Reiki master. I teach a lot of professionals, okay? Whether they're healing professionals or whether they're professionals in other lines, all different lines, how to, first of all, understand their own energy fields and what does that mean? And then also, how do you apply it in your life? So I deal with the quantum energy that's here. That is the higher frequency that everybody's feeling and everybody's been talking about. So Reiki is a type of modality dealing with universal energy above, and quantum energy is the frequency energy with the earth, with Mother Gaia. Or a lot of shamans, and I'm also a shaman, deal with the energy of, the astrology and the moons and stuff like that. But it's also the energy of the universe, and it's how the magnetic field is connecting in our human bodies. So it's really fascinating. It's fascinating.
This is a little bit of synchronicity for me.
Oh, I know.
Because
Fitz.
well, because I've been kind of like, I've been getting coached by a woman who we're dealing specifically with energies, what my energy is going into any kind of situation, any kind of whatever it is, what my energy is, something that I've never in my whole life ever paid attention to, and it's already like making huge differences in my life and my business. It's amazing. So I used to kind of believe your stuff, but kind of also be like, yeah, you're okay, whatever. But I'm telling you, this is real. It gets down to the building blocks of matter, and that's energy, right?
Right, and it's all about our soul. Where do we come from? Our DNA. I deal with the DNA. That actually, the metaphysical DNA that we have, that is all about structure of the universe. It's about 12, not so much 10, but 12. Structure of the universe means sacred frequency that comes through. Fitz, I'm very happy to hear that, and it is. It's about the spiritual part. Yeah, I am a reverend, all right, and I'm a reverend on energy. And it also started in my own recovery past with spirituality. What does that mean?
Yeah.
All right. So there's a lot to it. I also have a medical background, all right, and I also holistic. I did Western medicine and holistic medicine at the same time, along with healing myself for many things. And I needed proof. I needed scientific stuff. So this stuff that I do, energy medicine, is all scientifically based. And now in humanity, it's starting to come out. And so I love it because people are feeling it. And they say, what is this stuff? So I kind of explain it.
Yeah, I tell you. So everybody, I've got notes on my phone, and I'm looking at Sheila's.
Sorry, that's good.
Excuse me, Sheila's. What do you call it? On the interwebs or website? Yes, thank you.
Her MySpace page.
Yes, I got her Friendster and her Napster. No, so I did. Fitz and I have a very good friend who she's not practicing so much anymore, Amy White. And Fitz, you never really did anything professional with her, did you?
Professional? Are you kidding? She's one of my best clients.
I don't mean, I meant her coach you.
No, we did once. I think we did the one on your show where my Nana was yelling at her.
Yes.
Remember?
Right.
Yes. And I think I actually reached out to her to set something up with my wife and her, and I don't think we never got around to doing it.
Are you talking about mediumship?
Yeah.
The readings? That's part of it.
But she also does, she's kind of does a mixed bag of things.
We all do.
And because I think they're all interrelated,
They are.
And I work with a lovely woman here, Rebecca, who Lichtenthal, yeah, and so she does the same thing too, and she does Reiki and she does, she does coaching and numerology, tarot, the older I've gotten, as the beauty of it, the more you see that's just, this is all connected. and there's no other way to explain it.
That's why I was talking about this synchronicity, because over the last couple of weeks, so I just finished editing an audiobook about like manifesting. There's another audiobook that I'm working on that's similar, and all of these are talking about chakras, and they're talking about energy, and they're talking about all of these principles that you talk about. I do have one question though. How does one become a shaman? Is there like a shaman school?
Oh, yes.
Like shaman.com, and you can get your shaman license?
Well, that kind of is how I became a galactic grandmother. So that's kind of
that was the other
part.
question.
I knew you were going to go there. So yeah. So remember, Aboriginal people or indigenous people, talk about the earth, Mother Gaia, whether a Terra or whatever you want to call it, but it has to do with the elements, but the energy of the earth and how it affects your physical body. All right. So what you were talking also about, Fitz, was the old energy or the old ways. And we were just learning how to get into this new energy. So now it's the new energy, and it's the new changing of this frequency. And that's why it's different. It's called the new energy or the new human or the new earth. And it's about what is everything that's happened and everything that's happening, especially now, and why is this happening? And it's all part of you, all right, evolving as a soul in your human body. And what is it doing to your body physically? What is it doing to your body? And many of us have come from that background as far as learning all this stuff, astrology, tarot cards, mediumship, healing, beginning healing. And then some of us, through our own serendipity and synchronicity, our own life situations, and that's what's happened with me for 40 years. So I've grown into all this. I have a lot of things I've been educated on and used in my whole life, and since 2020, I was finally told who I was channeling and talking. They were talking through me and teaching through me was the higher consciousness, which is the galactic stuff. So it's all about energy and how we think and perceive and act consciously.
Are you familiar with Dr. Brian Weiss's work in Many Masters, Many Lives, or Many Lives, Many Masters?
Yeah, and that's old energy stuff.
That's old energy. Okay.
Yeah.
This is a new. I've never heard of the old energy, new energy. This is a totally new concept for me.
Well, why I say that is because since 2016,
because of my age. No, I'm kidding.
No, yeah, right.
She didn't say ancient energy. She said old energy.
What the hell?
Hey.
Well, that's why
old has become a recurring theme here. Lately.
Yeah, that's why I'm a galactic grandmother. It's about the wisdom, all right, and the miles on this Mother Earth that I've had, and the wisdom that I have as a woman and as my own experiences, but also in relationship to the Earth and how it affects every part of our bodies. All right. And so, this is about science has proven, and it's been out there, but of course it hasn't been able to get out there. Now it is. And since 16, I've been part of a gentleman called Cryon, who it's actually, it's a team of different people around the earth, top scientists on science and spirituality that actually have been putting this information out for 20, 30 years, but they have not been able to get it out into mainstream. However, now it's coming out, and it's marvelous. Dr. Wise, Brian Wise, was during the 80s when I started reading about him, about past lives, past masters, and all that other stuff. As I said, it's part of our evolution. We are in evolutional time. And that's what the metaphysics is all about. It's energy and how it connects with the actual synchronicity and serendipity of your life. And that's why I'm a teacher and a mentor, to kind of put all the dots together, you know? It's like we dabble in this, we dabble in that. It's like, I know this. How do I know this? You know? But it's part of why are we here? Where are we from? And where are we going? Yeah.
Yeah.
It's all new stuff.
So wait a minute, real quick. Fitz, how do you know about this Weiss guy? Not a wise guy, but the Weiss guy.
Spiritual stuff.
We used to hang out down at the strip club back in the day.
Well, you probably did.
A good friend of mine. We were just talking about positivity and good intentions, and just kind of related to what we're talking about now. And he says, "Oh, you got to read this book," you know. And so he's like, "I'm going to send it to you." So he sent me the book. So I read it, and then he's like, "And if you ever find anyone that wants to read the book, you know, pay it forward and send them the book."
That's right.
So, he's got a whole bunch of them that just talk about these. He does past lives regression, so he'll hypnotize people back to when they were a different life, and he helps cure their problems, their traumas that they brought over from a different life, a different existence. It's absolutely fascinating.
Yeah. Amy would talk about that too, going back to my friend Amy, and just to let you know, Sheila, what I'm familiar with is I've done a lot of work with her personally over the years, and she's taken a step back from doing it for a while, so I've been, you know, trying to do all of this on my own lately, and you know, one of the things I learned from, so I'll just quickly about me is I was married, and my ex-husband, I left when my kids were all three under the age of 7, and then he actually vanished, and then he was a raging alcoholic, and he just vanished. We didn't know if he was dead or alive. So then I raised the kids by myself, but I had been a stay-at-home mom, so I had no job, and you know, so I was in this deep depression, and I was constantly in a state of panic and survival mode, and the big thing is the scarcity mindset. I just lived in that because I was on food stamps. I was on, you know, things. I had to do everything I could, you know, but then I did end up getting all 3 of my kids graduated from college, and they're all very successful. But it took me so damn long to learn that. And with Amy, you know, learning about, you know, how to vibrate at a higher frequency. Do you work with that? Or? Okay.
Oh, it's exactly what I do. So when you said about scarcity, it's about fear, survival. Yes. And so what I do with all my modalities and what I'm certified to do is, how does it relate to what's going on in your life? In other words, the fear, the anger, the stress, you know, the resentment. How does it get triggered in you when you thought you dealt with all that? And it has to do with our energy fields, that everything we've experienced in all of our lifetimes, not only this lifetime, comes through when we get triggered. That's why past life regression was and is so important. But now let's go on to the new stuff. And Fritz, that's what I was going to tell you, that the difference between past life regression and kind of like what you can do now is, now with the quantum energy, you can tap into your own ability to find that information. That's called the higher consciousness.
Stop it.
Yes, that's exactly what I teach. And this is yes.
And how does one procure your teaching?
How do we take a class from you? I just got through having a wonderful workshop last weekend. It's a 3-day workshop. What that is about integrated energy therapy, and that is about learning about your issues in your tissues.
Oh, yeah.
Things are better when they rhyme.
Oh, yeah. And it's about your cellular memory, not just your chakras. It's about what's in everything and why it's there. And then you get to the core issues, just like, you know, We want to get the core issues. Why do we do the things that we do? And also my background too. If your audience want to go to my website and go to my About section, I kind of explain that where I actually explain, where I came from and, all these, I could talk to angels. How could I talk to angels? And everything started lining up. And it was about being unhappy. And I knew I had to take action. I had to do the work. And that's what recovery is. So it's not just, addictions to, what society calls addictions now. It's about control, judgment, behaviors, everything you've been taught and programmed. And so now you have to take the responsibility back. And integrated energy therapy is about learning what your own issues are. A lot of people want to take it because it is certification and you can do sessions on other people. My practice and I am a trainer, an international trainer for the Thai Masters, is that I'm called the healer of the healers. So you need to heal yourself and understand what are the core issues. Why do I act the way or behave or whatever? And then you start.
Heal thyself.
Yeah, exactly. And then you get in that higher vibration. You get in the higher vibration. And many people say, well, I dealt with that with my childhood issue years ago. Well, guess what? Those are stored. And my practice is about energy with energy psychology. How did the first 7 years of life, how did those get stuck in those cells? And you brought them through.
Yeah, here's
it's fascinating.
Question.
Fascinating.
I love it. And I've suffered from anxiety, more anxiety than depression. Depression came in later, but I knew I had it as a kid. I figured out later that I used to have these crazy irrational fears of stuff. I mean, there's probably some rationale while I did, but like thunderstorms, I used to get hysterical. Anyway, so then later when I was married, I was pregnant with kids. Plug your ears. When I was pregnant with my third kid, for my third child, my ex was having an affair with a woman at work. So I knew what was going on. Yeah, I knew what was going on, and I kept asking him rationally about it because I knew her. We were friendly, and he's like, "No, you're crazy," blah, blah, blah. And I was being gaslit, and I thought I was going insane.
Yeah,
so I started therapy then, and then it's taken me. I mean, that was at age. Jesus Christ, she turns in a few weeks. She turns 26. So. That's how long I've been doing this, but it's like I'll still uncover things as time goes on. So, and I there was some abuse, some little mostly mental, a little physical. Mm-hmm. So luckily I had a therapist back then that she told me about like the cellular level memory, and thank God she was like, I grew up Catholic, and so that's a whole other.
Me too.
That's a whole other bunch of shit I had to recover from.
That's so another therapy session, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, oh yeah, we all are. She understood that, and she started teaching me this. But anyway, one of the things I remember from back then, it was a traditional clinical thing, is what did they, was it EDMT or something, or the electronic dance music,
EMDR or tapping, EMDR or tapping.
Yes,
it's both.
Are they different things?
Yes, and it has to do with the mind body connection. So tapping, all right, is about thinking about certain things. EMDR is about thinking about the trauma that is stuck inside. So I'm also HeartMath certified. And what that means is I help people deal with stress and trauma and how you can self-regulate yourself without any chemicals. And that's about getting into the higher consciousness. So EFT is very good about subconsciously tapping in different areas and saying things positive things, about putting the positive energy out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what's EFT?
EFT, all right.
Right. That stands for
energy. It's of course. EFT is about tapping. ENDR is I desensitization, reprogramming, and that is in the hypothalamus. That's what mental health practitioners use a lot. And they found it through working with Vietnam vets, where the trauma was stopped inside the hypothalamus, and then it gets triggered. But IET is about EMDR through the whole body. It's about releasing the stress and the trauma through the whole body.
And that means eye movement desensitization and reprocessing.
Reprogramming.
Or reprogramming.
And it's you reprogram the mind, all right, and so that the body doesn't respond a certain way.
Right.
IET is about what is the actual trauma, what got stuck there, and then you understand how it got stuck. But then you, as a soul, have the power now with this higher energy to go in and heal it. And your DNA recognizes it when it happens again. That's why having IET sessions or quantum sessions, which is unity field healing, which is a higher frequency, which I do a combination of all of them together. And what it does is that it opens or realigns your body's frequency to start working on yourself or understand what is here now is the higher, older consciousness that you've had in your cells, in your soul. And you can release that to work on the stuff now and not have to worry about the old stuff anymore coming through. The difference is if you had a past life regression and it came, I was afraid of swimming. Okay, now I know why. I drowned in another lifetime. Now, go forward. How did it apply to your childhood? Why were you so afraid of the water? Why did it expand all out? Okay, so you go back and say, okay, now I understand. It was this, this, and this. So once you deal with understanding what is the core reason, and then go inside and start to work on yourself, your DNA takes over because the frequency, the magnetic field in the earth is different. That's the difference. That's why it's a new energy, new human.
Oh, right.
But we can put it all together where you're working past lives, you're working with, addictions, you're working with relationships, you're dealing with scarcity problems. It's all about negative or positive.
We're some powerful mofos.
Oh, wonderful stuff. And it's all through my own recovery. It's all through what I've had to do living in this 3D world. And you hear these words, 3D and 5D. What the heck is that?
Yeah.
And it has to do with the magnetic field and why it is different. And that's what I teach. Being on the Cryon team for many years with the top scientists, and which actually shows scientifically what has happened to these frequencies in the earth, the solar flares. Yeah, everything that's happening. Why?
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so I had like about 18 questions go in there. So wait, real quick. So do you deal with, you said you did a little mediumship or?
I do all of it.
Intuitive stuff?
All of it.
So, okay. When am I going to hit it big with the podcast? No, I'm kidding.
Okay, so that's what a lot of people want to know. They want a medium to tell them, what to do, what's going to happen. It's like you can go inside and do it yourself, and that's what the 24th chromosome, the higher frequency DNA that you have, that's alive now.
When you do that, how do you know? Is it just like a feeling you get, like Or, when you said you do the work yourself and then you find out that you drown in another life, how do you?
Okay.
Do you see a vision or?
So it's funny. I was going to say that real quick. I was going to say, Fitz, I was going to go, so how do I know when I'm healed?
Yeah, exactly.
Well, it's because you understand that where it came from and that it can't hurt you now. It's the child mentality, of something happened when you're childhood, but it came from somewhere else. And so now I say, okay, well, why am I so scared of it? Understanding, okay, why? So energy psychology is about unresolved feelings, all right, the body, the mind and the soul, or the mind and the body, physical body, what has happened to you physically when you get real scared, all right? The emotional, why do you get so upset when you hear something, you don't know why? The mental, you think about it, oh, I'm so stupid, I should remember to, I don't have to do that. And also the spiritual, Who are you as a soul? So when you go back to your childhood, when you see the boogeyman and you're scared, your parents say, oh, no, there's no boogeyman there. Don't worry, just go back to sleep. It's like, so they just said, that you're not allowed to feel your feelings. Or it's like, wait a minute, I did. It's getting validation of who you are. Mm-hmm. And so when you're fits... God. Yeah, intuition, okay? Intuition, we all have it. That is your 24th chromosome. That is your spiritual divineness as a soul. And everybody has a soul. Well, most people do. Some people don't. But well, we could all touch on that for a long time.
Exactly. I've got a list of names.
Yeah, right. So there's a lot to it, but it's the new energy, and it's the new way of thinking, and it's coming out in the whole world right now. And just think of, we have to change. We've been doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And it's been showing that it's not happening. So we need to change. And many people don't want to, and that's their issues in their tissues, or believing stuff that they've been programmed by what they've listened to, what they've heard, what they don't want to look at, and they don't want to be wrong, ego, So there's so much. And it's like, the key is wanting to be happy and live in the positivity and not get affected by all this negative stuff that comes at you every single day.
Right. Yeah. And that's, again, I got a couple things. Yes. One of the, I think man's biggest, or mankind's biggest, enemy, whatever, is their ego. And
it is.
And I've always been intuitive my whole life, but I never knew it until I embraced it, like I don't know, in the last 10 years. Maybe 7 years. And
I know, I can tell you why that is too.
Why is that?
Because your energy centers started to open up because of the energy frequencies in the earth and the fast track radio signals going to your electromagnetic field of your DNA, your 24th chromosome. It's like, oh, I know this. How do I know this? It's like, because you are divine. It's all who you are.
And I've had this my whole life, and you'll probably know. I would preface it by saying I can't explain it, but you probably know exactly what I'm talking about. But I've always had this thing where I feel like all of a sudden I feel like I'm in a different frequency, and it feels like I'm watching a television show or I'm in a television show. And I swear to God, my whole earlier years, my first 45 years, 50 years on this earth, I thought that I was just near like a TV tower.
You are?
I thought.
Yeah.
But that's why not as literal.
Well, it is. It is.
Yeah.
Those are a lot of people say, I'm getting downloads, I'm getting upgraded. It is. You are.
Thing.
You are.
And one day it dawned on me to, because I said it to Amy, and I'm like, oh my God, I think that's that thing that I feel. And she's like, it is. And I was like, and now one of my daughters, my youngest, has doing it, and she's like, we joke about it. She calls it being a witch. She's like, Mom, I think I'm a witch too.
My granddaughter used to say that to me. Now she knows she's not. Now she knows that she's awakened, and she remembers being in the towers, 9/11. She's only 17 years old. But she's been able to speak to spirits since she was a little kid. And years ago, she used to say, Grandma, me and my friends wake up at 3 o'clock and we get up during the witching hour. We talk to these ghosts and everything. It's like what they've been told. It's like, well, yeah, you're awakening up. But yeah. When you're talking about the frequencies, so I channel too. I channel star mothers. All right. And a lot of people say, what does that mean? Well, it comes through me. All right. They talk through me. All right. But it's my higher source, my higher God, whoever I am. We're all one.
And my friend, not to always keep going about Amy, but it's just my point of reference. She's a very, very, very dear friend, and I love her to death.
Well, she's a mentor. We have mentee mentors.
Exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
And she she's always used the term of, she calls it the GC, or the greater consciousness. And she always tells people, I call it GC, you can call it whatever, God, Fred, the universe, whatever.
A lot of people call it the Christ consciousness now. The Christ consciousness.
Okay.
And all it is the higher consciousness. It is like whoever you want to call upon. But the key is that we are all one. We are all part of the energy. And that's why people are waking up. Yeah.
Oh, I know. I went back. I was talking about the ego.
Yes, that's fear.
One of the best things I learned ever in my life was probably when I was about 45, about 15 years ago. Somebody told me the term, would you rather be right or happy?
Okay, I know what that term is, and it's one of my mentors, Dr. Wayne Dyer. It's called, do you want to be right or do you want to be kind? Think about that. Do you want to be right or do you want to be kind? And that's something that he started way back in the 70s or 80s.
Is he the one that has like the circle or whatever, the 4 squares, and there's like right, happy, kind, something?
But that's you can use that on anything. It's like Dr. Wayne Dyer died about 10 years ago.
Is that what
I
it
think
is?
It was.
Okay.
Do you know
pardon me?
Do you know who Dr. Wayne Dyer is or was? Okay.
Yep.
So he woke up to the spirituality, in recovery a long time ago, but also gave his life to help educate other people that, you need to shift into this higher self or your spirituality, and that's your soul. He was the beginning part of this change of energy, and there's a lot of them. That's like where I come from. I'm one of the oldies. I started waking up in the 80s and 90s, So I got a few years on you, Marge, but that's okay.
Well, that's okay. No, it was I think it was kind of whoever told me it was like a interchangeable, of happy, at peace, kind,
Exactly, that too.
All of that. Would you rather, are you going to double down on what you believe when you're making somebody angry? You're going to double, triple, quadruple down on what you believe just because I'm going to be right. You got to be right, rather than you're hurting somebody else or pissing somebody else off. It's just like, well,
that's the prevailing attitude these days, no matter where you look.
Yeah. I remember in recovery, it's like ways of detaching with love. They taught us back in Al-Anon. It's really about when somebody's trying to argue with you or fighting with you, all you have to say is, well, you may be right. You don't have to argue with them, is because it's about their issue, not your issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And that was another thing that was so helpful to me, is just realizing that a lot of things that happen, it's more about the other person.
Exactly. It's a mirror.
Because I used to take everything personally. Oh, that was, the scarcity and taking everything personally. Well,
yeah, exactly. And that's the childhood stuff. And we all have it. And it's like, just recognize that, a lot of people say, well, they like to play the victim role. And, I have my own kids. I have my grandkids. I have the whole stuff. And I say, no, I used to live behind that years ago. And I had to take the mask off. I did too. And say, no, once you become an adult, have your own life, you got to take responsibility. You can't blame anybody else anymore, So
I did, and it's, it was one of those things too. I always thought I was pretty self-aware, and was it a jolt when you're like, I don't do that. Oh God, I do that. Yes.
Don't you hate it when somebody says, "Oh, you sound just like your mother"? It's like, "Oh, I am not." It's like, well, where do we think we? I used to, be really offended by that because I hadn't healed from all that stuff yet, and now I just thank you, because now I understand, and I always say, the older I get, the wiser my parents become, is because. Yeah, and I am very, very grateful that my children are coming out with stuff to their children, and it's like, yes, I did something right instead of always bad.
I know. And there's so many people that I know that like just want to keep a stranglehold on their kids. And
it's a whole nother issue.
Right. And I was going to say that is a whole nother issue. So you can try and, enlighten them or teach them or show them, but they got to. Yes,
that's right. Boundaries. We should have boundaries, and they should have boundaries. Both of us,
Yeah, it's absolutely.
And even though we want to get there, we see them going to make a mistake, but it's like you got to let them make it themselves. It's the hardest thing.
Right. So, what are the different services then that you offer? Like, is there I saw something here. I'm asking something about like an online community or a group?
Yes.
Is that?
Yeah.
Tell us about that.
So as I said, I'm a galactic grandmother, but I'm also a teacher and a healer and a mentor. And I have a community called the Galactic Ascension Academy. And this is for people that are starting to waken up and feeling this energy and say, what's going on here? It's a community of like-minded people that are knowing something's happening. What's happening, And so I facilitate it. I'm very, very proud and appreciative that the Star Mothers back in the 2020 told me this is what I was going to do to help others that are in the same category as me as far as waking up. But I was already there, but the COVID, so many were in the drama and the fear and all this stuff. A community where it's all about positivity. You can talk about others, and then how do you get out of it? How do you change in your life and go with the role? This is happening to us now. So the Galactic Ascension Academy has evolved. I have a course called Sobriety Through Spirituality, and excuse me. A lot of people think it's just about, chemical addictions, and it's not. It's about anything you want to change in your life. So that is part of my academy. I have events 3 times a month that we all get together, and I teach different things.
Yep. Which one is that? I'm looking at your thing right now. I see Galactic Ascension Academy. I see the Sobriety Through Spirituality, the Galactic Ascension Inner Circle, the Galactic Monthly Activations, and then the community sharing.
Okay, so I'm going to kind of break it down. So when you become a member, you get, it depends on what membership you want, you get the whole thing. You get, the events, you get the replays, all right? You get the course if you do that one. Or a lot of people, how they start mentoring with me. Now, I mentor about everything, whether it's recovery or this metaphysical stuff, this energy, healers. Mm-hmm. And they have sessions with me once a month, all right? And with that session, it's about their own healing. What do they need? And it's also about educating, being a mentor, explaining things. And then that is a commitment, 3 to 6 months for mentorship, all right? And that's $222. All right, and includes everything. And then we have people that just want to have sessions, all right, just 1 hour sessions, and that's $122. So you could do it on an annual basis. You can do it on a monthly basis. The key is staying in the frequency. When you go out of it and don't really understand it, you go back to the old. So my community is about standing with people like-minded who understand the mind and soul or want to know about it, and they want to grow. They want to change. I also am a heart math coach, which a lot of mainstream doctors send people for me who, chemicals doesn't work, their high blood pressure is so bad. They tell them to do yoga, and yoga's not working. So heart math is about building resilience, about all that stuff without any chemicals. How do you do it?
Oh my God, Fitz, who I have to refer on that one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Are you listening? I got to refer John, because he's got some anxiety because he has a little bit of a stressful job. He's a pilot.
Yeah, I bet.
And also, he's retired military, retired Marine. And so, he's 60 years old. He's got, it's a stressful job. But here's the thing, they won't let him take anything. The FAA won't let them take anything. Anything. So this would be a perfect thing for him to learn how to.
Right.
Totally.
Yeah. So what I specialize in, what I also share is I teach all, not just healers, but a lot of professional peoples, law enforcement and medical people,
Yeah.
because we wear the biggest masks, all right? In other words, to do our work, and then our lives are falling apart, or we can't deal, our physical body can't deal with it. So I incorporate all of it together. It's all about this energy. And people don't realize they know it fits together, but they don't really understand it. So a lot of people that I teach, besides clients, are medical professionals, law enforcement, lawyers, doctors, all different type of massage therapists, acupuncture, all this stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, and the military, they had to be a hard ass all the time and deal with unbelievable.
Yeah. I have a
atrocities
podcast
or whatever.
I have a podcast myself called It's All About Love, and it's about my brother who was a staff sergeant in the Marine, and he passed in 2019, and I was his advocate while he was brain dead for 5 days. And it's a story about communicating with him and about people to realize that each and every one of us play a role in this lifetime on the Earth schoolroom. And it's for us to learn and have compassion for each other. And it's about our evolution. So metaphysics is about your evolution as a soul and how does it play out in your life and how can you use it. So, yeah, it's wonderful, everything that's happening now. So
I love all this.
Yeah, there's so many areas we can go into, Madge, but it's kind of understanding it's not woo-woo stuff. It's all scientific stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. That was just always my blanket word for that. Do you know who
a lot of people know it's woo-woo. They understand it. Yeah.
But got to get out of here today. But please visit Sheila at her website, listen to her podcast. You can find all the information about her and what she does, and sign up for any services if you like. You're not obligated to, obviously, but I'm
classes,
just letting Sheila, thank you so much again for being here. Welcome. And everybody, so if you were to subscribe to Sheila's stuff, that would be great. I'm going to show you some of what her socials are, and then me too. If you could subscribe before you head on out of here, hit subscribe on YouTube, and also follow me on any other social media. So thank you, Sheila, so much for being here. I appreciate it.
You're so welcome.
Thank you, Fitz. Thanks for being here, as always.
Bye.
Love you guys. We'll see you next time on the next
bye-bye.
episode of Madge Unmuted. Bye.
Your chakra's showing. Cover it. Your chakra's showing. Just kidding.